Join us as we take you through the steps of creating this watercolor effect on either fondant or chilled buttercream using no water at all. Hey friends, Natalie Madison here of Art is in Cakes, Chef Equation and Baking Up Profits, and today I'm going to take you through my methods of creating that stunning watercolor effect. My secret weapon though has nothing to do with water. It has everything to do with Flo Coat. Flo Coat is a product created by Americolor that can turn normal gel colors into oil-based colors. So I can treat them like oil paints on my fondant as well as on cold buttercream. A few tools we're going to need for this project: some nice artist brushes, gel colors and paint palette, and of course our Flo Coat. And in this case, I am just using a little bit of scrap fondant, stuff that I was getting ready to throw away. I thought would be perfect for this project. So I'm just going to roll it out and cover an 8-inch or 10-inch board, your choice, and then we'll go right into watercolor effect. Let me show you how you do this. We begin this process by just outlining or tracing our overall shape, and I just use a toothpick to do that. And now I'm blending a little bit of that Flo Coat with my individual gel colors, and you can see it changes in transparency depending on how much oil I add to my gel color. And I'm using just a basic paper towel to wipe off excess color and excess oil until I can get a nice translucent effect. And you can play around with this, and of course, if it becomes too much, you can always dab it off with a paper towel, like that. All right, I'm just coming through and putting in some base colors, just some general base colors, staying with warm tones and in groups, and then I'll come back through with cool tones and groups. And I like to work my way kind of light to dark. Adding a little bit more of that Flo Coat to different colors. I'm going to come through and add some of this beigey pink color into my hummingbird wings and into the body. Just lining out the tail and the basic shapes right now. And depending on, again, how much oil I have greater saturation of color within this paintbrush. All right, I'm ready to start playing around. Here we go. Switching over to a purple color and blending that in. Now with oil colors, it's going to continue blending. So this doesn't dry, it stays blendable, which I want for a watercolor effect. I want the individual colors to bleed into each other and be blendable with a drier brush. I'm using a variety of flat brushes and round brushes to make the effect happen. Just blending it in with a dry brush. And I try to keep my strokes one direction, especially in the wings, which have a directional feel anyway. Just building up color, going a little bit darker, highlighting the darkest points of my hummingbird. A little bit more tone in there, close to a black, but not quite a black. Coming in and highlighting again where the shadows are and defining my structure and my lines for this piece of art. Two additional tones in there. Now I'm going to begin with my green tones. I'm just dragging it out down toward the bottom of the tail feathers and along the back side of the body, also using that to really define the darker shadows of the wings. And beginning to build in the green tones of the upper head area. Leaving that eye empty for now because I'm going to come back through. I want to make sure I save a little bit of white, so I'll use less oil in that space because I don't want it to bleed. I want the eye to be the most defined spot. This flower in the watercolor picture was so cute, I just had to add it, so I'm going to go ahead and put in those details too. Switching out paint brushes, getting a feel for which ones you like better. And I've got a nice fine point one now for the hummingbird beak and more details and structure in the wing structure itself. And those tiny little feet. It's not the same without those cute little feet. Using that same brush, fine point brush, leaving that highlight open but building in the eye. Dragging in some color, creating that watercolor effect, blending it in with that dry brush, adding some overtones within the other areas, filling in my negative space, blending again with that dry brush. Some contrasting colors, adding a little bit more of the warm and the cool, finishing out my flower. I'm cleaning out my brush in between color changes too, and I'm just doing that by wiping it on the paper towel. Next up, it's time to start adding dots and spots and splatter. You can do that with a round brush and just point in the dots, just put dots into the painting itself. But you can also take a brush, stiffer bristle brush works better, say that 12 times, and just flick it onto your painting. So I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Inspiration for you? Go get some Flo Coat and let's see what you can do with watercolor that requires no water. I hope you enjoyed this video. Come see us at artisincakes.com, join our classes, and follow us